Hello, my name is Clay Anderson, and today I will be interviewing Dr. Bob Phillips. Dr. Bob Phillips is the co-founder of the Point Man Leadership Institute. The Point Man Leadership Institute has presented leadership seminars in over 70 countries worldwide. He is also a New York Times best-selling author who has written more than 130 books. With that said, here is Bob Phillips. Yeah, okay, so anyway, so before you tell us what makes a good leader and how one can become a good leader, why don't you give us a little bit of your own personal background when it comes to leadership? So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, Clay, it's good to be with you today.
Thank you.
With regard to my background, I went through college, of course, and then after college, I joined an organization called Hume Lake Christian Camps and was there for a number of years and soon became the director of Hume Lake. Hume is a large camping operation. We have 125 year-round employees, and then we have about 450 part-time employees with the organization. So that was a jump right into the leadership world, and that's how I got started.
Yeah, apparently I heard this from just a rumor that one time your workers were working and what happened was you decided to help them out, even though at the time you were like the executive, and apparently the board of directors didn't like that because you were supposed to be, represented well, the suit and tie, not working with amongst the workers. So yeah, how was that like? It was because you believed in the idea that, you know, that if you want your workers to work hard, you have to work hard yourself. So what was that like working amongst people who didn't believe that the executive director should be working amongst his own workers? What was that like?
Well, for a large part of that, I ignored their comments, and I would be talking with various employees, and they would be maybe working in a ditch, and they would say, Bob, we don't know how we can get this particular job done. And I said, well, let me get down there and I'll show you a way to do that. And I would get down there and work with them for a few minutes, show them what to do on a particular project, and then say, I think you guys can handle it well from here, and I would leave. And I found that by working with employees and encouraging them, that they did a much better job, and they appreciated my being there with them, in fact.
So I guess you could say that's the best way to encourage your workers to work harder, essentially.
Well, you can't always do that as a leader. Sometimes you are very busy with other tasks that you have to perform, but when you have an opportunity to stop and talk with the people that work for you and encounter them and ask them about their job and what they're doing, it's much appreciated by them.
What do you think makes a good leader?
Well, I think leadership involves a number of things. A leader has to be decisive. They have to think about the future. They have to be a visionary. They have to be open to the comments and suggestions from those that work with them and under them. They have to be, if they're working with a board of directors, which I did, I had a 15-man board of directors that I answered to. You have to be submissive to the board of directors because they're your boss, even though you have employees underneath you. You have to be concerned about the job performance of those that are working under you. You also have to, I think, be concerned about your employees having the right tools and equipment to accomplish the tasks that they need to do. If you're a carpenter, you need a hammer and a saw and a few other items like that. If you're in the office, you need a computer and you need a phone and you need some items like that. So part of a leader's job is to make sure the employees have the right tools in order to do their job.
So in the Point Man Leadership Institute, where have you presented leadership seminars?
Well, we've been in a number of countries. We've had the privilege of speaking to the Mongolian Parliament, which is on the other side of China. We have spoken at the Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs to the cadets there at the Air Force Academy. We've been a couple of times to Quantico at the FBI Academy and presented seminars. We've also had the privilege of, for several years, of presenting seminars to all of the generals and colonels for the entire Russian Federation, and a lot of interesting places that we've had the opportunity to present seminars.
In the seminars, what do you stress? Like, what do you really emphasize in your seminars when it comes to leadership?
Well, our seminars are entitled Inspirational Trustworthy Leadership. And what we do is we talk about character, the importance of character. That is a very striking thing that a lot of leadership is lacking today and is not trustworthy. And so I think that that is something that has excited the people that we've talked to, and they've enjoyed hearing the seminars and what we have to present.
Could you maybe give me an example of a particular place or group of people that really were inspired or impacted by your seminars?
We were in Paraguay, and we were at the Command College in Paraguay, and the commandant of the entire group, about 180 officers, at the end of the seminar thanked us for being there and our appreciated and everything. And then he turned to his audience, 180 of the leaders under him, and said, "You all know me. You know that I've been corrupt in the past. And today I want it to end. And I want you to hold me accountable." That was a very exciting time at the end of our seminar.
In the current decade we're in, what do you think of leadership nowadays?
I guess my first initial reaction to you is decision making. I think there is a whole host of people who are in leadership positions but are unwilling or afraid to make tough decisions. And that's what separates someone who has a title from someone who is a true leader. And when you make tough decisions, not everybody's going to like you. And I think that's the problem today in much of the leadership that we're facing. Everybody wants to be liked, and everybody wants to be accepted, and everybody wants to be part of the group and be in the in crowd, and you don't want anybody calling you a name, applying a name to you that you're racist or you're homophobic or you're white supremacist or all of these type of things when they start calling you names, because people are afraid to make tough decisions. And that's what we need today in our society, are people who can stand up for what they truly believe and make the tough call.
Would you say there's any hope for good leaders to sprout out in a day and age where people aren't really thinking about the concept of leadership?
I think we need a lot of leaders today. I think it's a great calling. It's a tough calling. It's a calling where you're giving yourself to something larger than yourself. And I think today's young people, they need a cause that is bigger than just earning money for themselves or just having a title. I think they need to give themselves to a cause, to serve humanity in a larger way, and they will be happier in the end result.
I believe we've covered all my questions. Thank you for your time. You've been very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clay. It's been my pleasure to be with you.